A pleasant good morning to one and all gathered here. So I welcome you all to this third day of 5-day Atal-sponsored faculty development program on role of academic institutions in community services through online mode. So the Anjar College grabbed the funds from Atal AICT for conducting this kind of 5-day FDP on role of community institutions on community services. So for the past 2 days, we have crossed 6 sessions. Each emphasizes on each and every aspect of the various dimensions of community services, universal values, promotion of other things related to community services that can be rendered by academic institution towards to society. Today also we are going to have sessions on how technology can contribute for community service and what are all the supplementary teaching methods which can give hands to promote the community services by the academic institution towards society, as well as several for doing the community services, what are the supports that are rendered by the government through schemes to promote the community services by not only by institutions but also by corporate and other things. So these are the abstract of the sessions we are going to have this on this third day of this faculty development program. Dear friends and participants from various institutions across the nation, I wholeheartedly welcome you on behalf of Anjar IQAC and management principal. I wholeheartedly welcome you all to this third day of faculty development program. Before getting to the session, let me introduce a few words about today's first session resource person, Dr. S. Vairamuthu. So Dr. S. Vairamuthu, he completed MCA and after completing his post-graduation in computer application, he also successfully completed Master of Engineering ME as well as doctorate in computer science and engineering. So his qualification is MCA, ME and PhD. He has more than 20 plus years of service in the academic institutions, and he has various roles as well as various achievements during his career, and his doctorate dissertation or thesis is on the topic human-computer interaction and usability engineering. His area of interest in the research domain are machine learning, IoT, and software engineering. Presently, he is guiding 2 scholars under his able guidance. Number of papers in Scopus indexed journals is more than 20. So it is really a commendable one. Having a Scopus index journal is very tough. He is having 20 plus Scopus indexed journals. And he published 3 book chapters and books edited as associate editor for 1 book. He has several roles. As an administrator, he has the experience of he has several experience. Presently, he is the head of the department of software system and administering also BTech computer science and education. He is also serving board member in various bodies, board of studies member in Anna University, affiliated institution, and doctoral committee members in various universities, thesis evaluator for Bharatdasan University, question paper setter for various institutions, exam committee member as an assistant chief superintendent, and served as a technical committee member in national and international conferences, and as a head of the department, he is presently working in the VIT Vellore, and he organized 5 faculty development programs and organizing committee member in various development programs of their university. He also successfully completed online certification in a huge number, 15 plus online certification he can. As a, in a nutshell, Dr. S. Vairamuthu, above all, he is alumnus of our great Ayanada Janaki Ammal Institute. We are proudly say him as a renowned alumni of our college. He completed BSc Computer Science and MCA from Ayanada Janaki Ammal College. With a note, he grabbed the gold medal in the BSc level and silver medalist in the MCA. So we are proud to have you as a resource person today, sir. So with very much happy, you are accepting our invitation and come over here as a resource person. So dear participants, on behalf of all of us, I wholeheartedly welcome you and hand over the session to you, sir. Welcome to our Anjak.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. So I hope I'm audible. Is my screen visible to all?
Sir, yes, it is visible.
Okay, so 1 minute. And very good morning to all the professors from Anjak and across various institutions in Tamil Nadu as well as other states. So as Madam Vasanthi Madam pointed out, I'm really proud to be part of this particular FTP, being a very wonderful institution as an alumni. So I'm very proud to be here, and I thank at this time the team led by Dr. Vasanthi to give me an opportunity to have an interaction with a set of people who are across, who are from various institutions. So as Madam pointed out, I'm working in Vellore Institute of Technology, Vellore, and currently holding additional responsibility as head of the Department of Software Systems. And also I'm in charge for Beta Computer Science and Engineering. So to start with, let us all first discuss about what actually the term community service is meant to be. And before this, as Madam pointed out, we have 3 sessions per day, and the third session today will be highly useful as far as my opinion is concerned, because they have invited Assistant Director of Government Services. Hope she'll be giving very wonderful set of feasibilities and possibilities for community services with the help of or the support of government also. So I'm just going to touch upon with HE, higher education institutions, and some slight part on how we can proceed, or as an institution or as a faculty, how we can proceed with community services. So this is what I'm just going to touch upon. And I'm basically, as I said, I just wanted to learn from you all how your institution is involving in such kinds of community services. So first, as far as my opinion is concerned, community refers to a group of people who is actually segregated in a particular place or area, etc. Anyone can define it. It's not enough issue. So what is community service? Service that should benefit our community is generally community services. So when we say service, it need not be always monetary. The service which has benefits to individuals in terms of monetary benefits like money or whatever it is. So the community services may be either for free based on one's individual willingness. That is, I volunteer myself for community service without expecting any return. So that is one case. So there are some organizations who involve themselves and they raise fund. Based on that fund, they used to get involving themselves with some services. So that is one other case. So paid or not paid is not going to matter at this stage, but it should at least have some benefits to the entire set of people. As far as higher education institutions are concerned, what we strive to achieve or what actually UGC recommends us, we should have some programs that must be linked to our curriculum. So this curriculum or the program should involve the students, not only the students across the institutions, but also they should also involve the faculty members. Some courses must be designed to deliver some benefits to the particular community, and we should work towards some common goal. So this was actually insisted by UGC since number of years back, many years back. So I'll tell you in the next slide when they started this initiative actually. So as I said, the participation of an individual, it depends on whether they are going to get monetary benefit or not, but any kinds of community service, there should be some personal sacrifice, maybe in terms of time and one's remuneration and one's convenience. So everything matters in community service if you volunteer yourself. Now, when we say community, you said there are so many ways you can help your communities. What are the ways you can help your communities? Very simple. Many people used to ask, what can I do? What can I do? You should do simple things. Collect things for your community. You can collect school supplies, so unused books, some used backpacks, some food coupons from pantries to help the needy people, some food items, some unused kits, some hygiene products, whatever it is. Very simple things we can do. Even if you have seen TV, most of you, they might be giving some advertisements. So some food, don't waste food. If you call, we'll come and collect. Very simple thing you do for a community, collect things. These are all some of the examples. So do things. Well, you can do so many things for a community. Just take a kid from nearby your home to the school. So just help an elderly neighbor. Just take care of their lawn. Do some dog walking services. Even dog walking services are carried out by the people in United States. They offer dog walking service. Imagine that is a service they are doing, but we never know that. See, very simple thing. You just go and read, take a book and read for an elder people who is nearby your community. You can do very well simple things. When there is a parent teachers meeting, you just do the babysitting work. That is also a task. So there are so many things we can do. Teach things, very important, because this is where, as an educational institution, we wanted to have a very good name. So teach things to the people or community. You can teach simple kids, small kids. You can give some music classes. You can coach for youth sports. You can teach adult some internet skills. You can give a seminar on how to drive safely or how to even play a game, how to use mobile. Anything is possible. So fix things. What you can fix. You have to identify what should be fixed up in your community. We do not need anything. You just have set of books which you are not using right now. Form a simple library. So start a simple library, lend the book for free. Just place some campfire safety flags near your campsites. Just clean up your local park. That is very good work. Beautify your areas. Help your neighbor to paint a fence in the building. Unused area becomes wonderful places. Help your neighbors with repairs. Some elderly people may be there. You may try to support them. So very simple ways are there with which we can support our community. Make things. What things we can make? You just spend some time to learn cooking. Offer your cooking services to your family. That itself is a very good thing. So bake some cookies. Even in this pandemic, and I was really happy to share that I learned some kind of cooking. And my daughter, she learned baking. Right. So this is not only making things. You can write some letters to the seniors who are still adhering to writing letters. So there are things which you can volunteer also. So you can go for a local library, let them clean the book, let them clean the shelves and arrange the book. You be volunteer for a trip, field trip, take some people to a field trip. So you can go for volunteering to community centers. You can volunteer as a lifeguard. You can be a social media. You can do some social media for local organizations. You can help them to set up some community event. You can volunteer in a food party, food pantry. So there are so many different kinds of services, which if we want, we participate so that our community is going to be getting benefited. And this very important place where we should also think about the initiatives taken by government. So initially, if you see UGC, as far as higher education institutions in India is concerned, the MHRD had been developing some schemes to promote stronger community engagement amongst HCA. That is, the main objective is they should promote some kinds of curricular activities which must be part of the institutional activities. So the major objective is to achieve socio-economic development. So to achieve socio-economic development, UGC has initiated the process in the year 2012 with the support of MHRD, and they have also established some schemes. So maybe third session you might have known, you will be announced about it. So one such simple scheme is Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. So it was actually part of UGC, which actually the basic objectives of this particular is fostering social responsibility and community engagement. So every higher education institution should foster in social responsibility and they should involved in community engagement. So this is what the actual aim of this particular initiative of MHRD is. So how are they done? How are they doing it? What they have done so far? So this is, as I have given, the goals of this particular initiative includes improving the quality of teaching learning in higher education by bridging the gap between theory and practice through community engagement. So this is a basic aim. So every higher education institution should involve themselves in some kinds of community engagements, and they should also promote deeper interactions between education institutions and local communities. Why it is needed? Basically, when you promote interactions between the society and the institutions, we can identify the real problems which are faced by communities in spirit of mutual benefits. You can identify and you can also provide some kinds of solution to their problems. For such kinds of things, we in VIT, we have a special course called TARP. So technical answers to real world problems. So students are encouraged to interact with the people in the local communities. They used to identify and they used to provide solution to their problem. So just not only to have deeper interactions, they are actually exposed to the problems in their real life of the society. And if possible, as a team, they used to provide solutions. That is also the objectives is given by UGC, as directed by UGC. So, and facilitating partnership. So encouraging higher educations with local communities, you can make use of them, expertise people in the communities to make curriculum or to design some courses so that we may move towards achieving the social goals of the national development. So that is also one of the important things. So local communities must be engaged in formulating courses. And also you can permit students or faculty to take on research projects. So these are the major objectives which was initiated in the year 2012. And in 2019 February, UGC has completely formulated a document, and the document is also available in the internet. If you type this title, Fostering Social Responsibility and Community Engagement, you could find interesting documents. I hope it will run through 25 or 26 pages. So there they have given all these aspects. So what are the principles of community engagement? So when we talk about community engagement and social service, you must be very careful about these points, because mutual learning and respect is very important. Mutually agreed interests, one point, and needs of both communities and HA should be articulated and respected. So we should be in a position to give and take. There is no win-win situation. It should be give and take policy. Without ensuring mutual benefit, community engagement does not serve the purpose of social responsibility. So there should be mutual learning, there should be mutual respect. So everything should be documented. This is the first principle of community engagement. And second, if you think as UGC is suggesting, every university-wide in each faculty and discipline, it should be irrespective of the department. Community engagement should not be limited to a few social science disciplines alone. It should be practiced across all the disciplines and across all the faculties. Only people who are doing BA economics or BA English, they should be part of. No, it is not the case. So before coming to this place in VIT, before 15 years, I was there with MEFCO Engineering College, which is in Sivakasi. So I was in charge of NSS, National Service Scheme. I was there for 1 year, but in that 1 year, I was in charge for NSS. I conducted a 10 days camp, just on my own willingness. So each and every faculty should not be restricted to only a particular discipline. So all the higher education should be practicing this disciplines and across all the faculty, right? So faculties of natural science or engineering, I said, I'm from basically an engineering institution. So I should also promote community engagement in my teaching and research. So it will help to educate local communities about some new inventions, or inform students about and the faculty the ways to harness the local technology and knowledge. How can we support? So that is what the point, university-wide, in each faculty and discipline, every faculty must be part of some kinds of community engagement. And some people are there, credit-based. Students, very vital point, as the students are always students. So they used to ask, what is the benefit I'm going to get out of this? The participation of students in teaching activities of community engagements or undertaking research in learning should earn them credits. So that is what we also do. In VIT, we have additionally, specifically, we have 2 credits for some courses. So they should do some kinds of services. We are dedicated, they have been given 2 credits for this kind of extracurricular course activities. Some activities, they should be part of some activity, some events or some clubs, whatever it is, for entire semester, including NSS and NCC. For 90 working days, they should involve themselves for 90 hours. They will be given some credits. It is mandatory to clear those courses with a pass or fail grade. So we are just encouraging and we are motivating them also. So providing credit to teachers sometimes is mandatory, because performance assessments of teachers or administrators in higher education institution, they should include, they should also review their involvement and contributions to community engagement in teaching and research. So criteria and weightage may be different, because UGC have never stressed anything about the criteria or weightage for teachers, but it will be a good practice if we give some credits to teachers who are actually part of these kinds of engagement services. So after this, there are linkages with local institutions. As I said, in order to have regular community engagement programs from an institution, from higher education, we should develop some long-term linkages with local institution around them, around us, right? So it may be a local government or district administration or some small business entrepreneur or some NGOs. So we should have some kinds of linkage to facilitate or to improve our community engagement. And then forms of community engagement. So with above said principles, we can choose combination of any forms. We can choose any form. It's not mandatory, but it's just an overview of my ideas, which I have referred from many documents. So link learning with community services. So students and teachers may apply their knowledge and the skills in a particular community so that it may improve community standard. Right. So self-service learning, it may be some adapt some globally accepted best practice. So provide some engagement opportunity to students from various disciplines to apply their knowledge to address challenges of a particular community. So you can link learning with the community service. So you can link research with community knowledge. So you can devise some joint research project in partnership with communities and, as I said, with local agencies. So community, if we say, if the community comprises of so many elements, so there may be so many technical people, there may be so many, there are so many knowledgeable people. So first we should design and conduct some kinds of research to understand what is exactly the requirement. Then some research-based students may help them to complete their requirements. So this is a participative of research in community, or link your research. Say students of engineering can undertake research in partnership with community on some waste disposal. Say for example, or water management, or solar plant, whatever it is, installation. So you can link the research with community knowledge also. Then you can share your knowledge sharing and knowledge mobilization. The knowledge available with students and teachers, if it is made to local community, it is going to be a developmental aspirations. It is going to be very good. This can take the form of enumeration, survey, awareness camps, campaigns, trainings, whatever be it is. Students can undertake some kinds of knowledge sharing so that the community is going to be developed. We can see some improvements over the community which we want to actually mobilize it. So devise new curriculum and courses, very important point, and this must be given utmost care as a higher educational institution. So new curriculum, many institutions we have curriculum in existing courses, or it is suggested to incorporate something. This will actually enrich the curriculum of existing courses through some appropriate subject-wise manner also. It will also create some new locally appropriate educational programs. If needed, you can start a new program for your students or your institution. So financial inclusion or entrepreneurial development, or nutritional value to local community. So some programs may also be introduced for local community. I'll talk more about this new curriculum in the next forthcoming slides also. And including practitioners as teachers. So local community elders or women leaders, some entrepreneurs, civil society practitioners, so everybody, they will be having wide and enormous practical knowledge of wide, and they will also have wide variety of issues from agriculture to forestry, or micro planning, water harvesting. So as I said, there are people, the knowledge is widespread across several people in the community. So this expertise can be tapped by inviting such people. They should be recognized, they should be compensated, they should be respected for their practical experience and knowledge. They should be part of our process. So including practitioners as a teacher, it will help us to improve our community with the support of higher education institutions also. And finally, social innovations, students are the best innovators. Not to be frank, we should accept it. So students can be encouraged to initiate learning projects with the social impact. So as I said, we have some courses, we have embedded project components, which involves experiential learning and doing by learning. So they used to take some projects apart from regular theory and laboratory components. They will also be encouraged to involve something. If they come up with some innovations, we at VIT, we promote them to identify and apply for patent. So there are process so which students can do. They must also be recognized, or you may also do some kinds of competitions. We used to have hackathons, at least 2 hackathons per semester, so that all the students may come up with innovative ideas, provided we have plenty of problems with us. So in this way, we can involve all the students as well as the entire institutions or departments across the institution for community guidelines. So as I said, there are few operational guidelines which are very simple. So we can have compulsory community engagement course. So recommended curriculum, actually UGC recommends to have a compulsory course for both UG as well as PG students in higher education institutions. So this is one point, or where you can recommend each people, no issues. It can just have for a 2 credit, as I said, you may focus on some objectives. You can provide some outcomes which should appreciate rural society or understand their economic. It is just for an outline I have given this. So appreciation of rural society or understanding anything, but it should be a course. There should be a course which teaches community service as compulsory, or you can use adapt existing courses also. So you can modify existing courses to add some values of social importance, and you can do it also. So if you see, there are some institutions as part of this, I say, even an institution, they have some form. I don't want to name the institution. So they have a form on campus. It is compulsory for all the students and faculty to spend some time on the field in supporting agricultural operations. So even in Tamil Nadu, I could name a college where they have a farm. It is not part of their BSc agriculture course. They have a farm. They used to actually cultivate the products which are needed for their hostel throughout the year. They used to cultivate. So it is in even it is now it is there. Right, as part of it, very similar way, if you see, there is an institution called Gandhigram Rural Institution. They have added some existing contents, their existing courses. Say Gandhian approach to development. Gandhigram Institute is a central, deemed to be university. So they have revised some contents to their existing courses to adapt to such kinds of community engagement. I mean, there is one more university in Haryana. So I just do. I please don't mistake me. I don't want to name the institutions. So they are also having adapted their teaching methods to promote community engagement to the students. Even similar to our institution, deemed to be university, we are other deemed to be universities. They have their own method of engaging the students for community services. So they used to have field projects on rural tourism or energy or housing, sanitation, everything. So higher educational institutions are also undertaking research project as already insisted on the last slide. Now coming to this, very simple. What are the considerations that should be there if we say we are going to be part of some community services? Mutual benefits is one thing and satisfaction is other thing. And how we are going to enter into community services. So what basic criteria or not criteria, what are the considerations that immediately comes into my mind on these points? Who would I like to help? I say community. It's not that all the community needs services all the time. So I should first do a research. My students should be participated. They should do field study. They should identify the needs. And then they should come up, okay, this is the actual community which needs some kinds of service, or whatever be the services it is. First, we should identify the community. Then we should also decide how much time we want to spend. I said if it is part of curriculum, it's okay. 2 credit course. So 2 credit course, 30 hours per semester, that is okay. There are some people, I hope most of you are doing some one or the other forms of community service. Need not be one time. See, very simple example, blood donation. You used to donate blood in once every 3 months or 6 months. So we have some people who used to voluntarily do this activity. So we need to actually understand, because everybody will not find sufficient time because of the competitive world, survival. So you should also decide whether you are going to repeat, or the activity which you are going to initiate is going to be a repeated or recurring activity, or it is just going to be a plug and play. That's one-time activity. So everything must also be considered based on your time frame, based on students' requirement. Very important point is third one, how it is going to have impact on the lives of the people of the community. What kinds of impact? What is the change? Change is permanent, but this should be appreciated. The change must be appreciated. So we should also understand what is the kind of impact it is going to produce with the people in the community, how their lifestyle is going to be improved. Irrespective of the lifestyle, I should not talk about lifestyle, whether their basic needs are addressed. Will the initiative which you are going to start will address the community to have, or to address the minimal needs of the community? It should have what kinds of impact? And finally, one more important thing is, what is that I'm going to achieve? Maybe I can become a very good team leader. I initiate a process, a community service, say X or Y. I lead a team. I had a team of 20 people. So I participate in a survey. I understood the problem of the community. I devise a strategy to improve their or to rectify the problem. Every people is working with me. So I'm a very good team player. I can earn any kinds of skills, be it team skills, individuality skills. You can represent a community. You can be a very good team leader. You can be a very good event organizer. Anything is valid. So all these things should be considered when you choose to initiate a community service. And it is not at the one perspective that the benefits of community service, the people who are going to benefited out of community services are not restricted. Everybody is going to be benefited. So first, students, starting with students, they are going to be the major beneficiaries, because part of their curriculum, they are going to earn some credits. Apart from credits, as I said, they may earn some skills, leadership skills, time management skills, planning. Everything can be earned. They acquire some skills. Then academics, as I said, higher educational institutions should have some linkage with local bodies. They should invite entrepreneurs from nearby community. They should ask them to participate in their curriculum. So everything is there. Academics have the opportunity to develop links with the society. So you can do some consultancy. You can have communication with NGOs there in your community. Just provide some consultancies. It is also possible. Then employers. So potential employees will be having they will be having skilled employees. Because nowadays company also require some sort of skills. Then people, the community which is going to be benefited out of your service, they may raise some funds. Maybe the basic thing, apart from funding, at least their lifestyle becomes improved. And government can also utilize these services of students or academicians or employers, so that they are also moving towards credibility of progressive of rural or whatever be the community they are about to develop. So benefits in community services are the people who are going to be benefited out of community services are not restricted or limited. Everybody is everybody who is directly or indirectly involved in community services are going to be benefited in one or the other ways. Now, how as a higher educational institution or educational institution, or how can they involve themselves in such kinds of engagement, community engagement? So already all these points are clearly given. So you can be a community developer, provide some leadership analysis, whatever be it is. So involve community people. You can give some framework idea, as I said, Our students, they used to interact with, be it nearby industry, even for the industries in Sri Perumbutur, wherever it is possible, our students go to field visit and they used to identify and understand, and they address, they give some innovative framework or process, or in the form of software solutions, or hardware component integrated with software, anything, right? So voluntary action, it is also very important, and students, as insisted, they should also be given some weightage, some credits, but ultimately every student and all the faculty should volunteer themselves at least in one or the other activities. Very simple. We have a number of facilities, sports center, cultural activities. You can do all these in the nearby communities also, right? So initiatives, if higher educational institution thinks, there are plenty in numbers. So very simple example, VIT management, I should really wanted to record this. So they have initiated a project called Green Vellore. No, in and around in Vellore district, once upon a time, it is famous for hot temperature. Now they are struggling hard. Management is striving to change Vellore into a beautiful city with greenery everywhere. So they are actually initiating a tree plantation in and around Vellore. And our campus has also received some award, Greenery Campus, for 1 or 2 years. Couple of years back, continuously we have been receiving awards from central government for such initiatives, right? And how we are initiating community services, how basically it's very simple and straightforward. All the institutions we have students, clubs and chapters. All the students must be part of some clubs or some chapters. In VIT, we have 18 clubs for outreach. 18 clubs for outreach. So some of them I have listed 18. So those 18 clubs, I just don't want to combine all these things. But anyway, I just list out the name. We were case Anoha, Ayuda, so Becoming I Foundation, a youth-led foundation that engaging youth people. So such kinds of clubs and chapters in any educational institutions will help all the students to be part of something, some clubs or some chapters. See, we have something called as VIT fifth pillar. So each and every people will start fighting against corruption at all levels. So this is an initiative. So we have something called as Kalvi. So people used to go to village, a team. They used to go to slum or village. They used to spend some time to teach the children in there. Some kinds of training will be given. They provide some sort of healthcare advices. We have also some clubs which are tied up with other third-party clubs, say Lions Club, Leo Club. So everywhere we are trying our level best to serve the needy people. So mad, don't say make a difference, right? So they used to go with orphanages. They used to do some kinds of services apart from NCC and NSS. And in some institutions, what they advise, what UGC advises, how you can promote these kinds of community engagement is, no, some institutions, they used to penalize the student, penalty. How the penalty is going to be? They used to go to, or they used to pay some 1,000 rupees to so and so orphanage. In our institution, what we used to follow, if there are problems, there's a committee, disciplinary committee, they used to do, you just go and you have to do some kinds of service for 7 days and you have to submit the certificate. There's a kind of punishment. In such a way, some communities, some institutions, they encourage, even though it's stated as a punishment, they encourage students to adapt themselves in an environment, and they involve themselves to do some kinds of, to undertake some kinds of voluntary services. Now, I just stop at this point, and I wanted to know how your institutions are actually engaging in such kinds of community services. If I have some ideas, I can also learn from you. Participants, professors, please give me some ideas how your institution is initiated or initiating such kinds of community services across students' community. Is my question clear? Can I have some ideas, innovations from your side so that I may learn some new things? Yes, please, madam, please proceed. Dr. Aruna Devi, please proceed, madam. Dr. Aruna Devi, madam, you raised your hand.
You may unmute your mic and you can raise your. Now you can unmute. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Wonderful presentation, Vairamuthu sir. I was really, happy about the number of ways your institution is actually, contributing to the society. The club names also, it was really very, attractive to students as well as, the everyone outsiders also. So it's so nice. And sir, I just want to ask you one thing. I'll tell about our college, how we do actually. We have a Center for Environment and Sustainability, and we have all these NSS, NCC. There are a lot of units. We call it as JES, Jayantian Extension Services. Since our college name is Christu Jayanti College, Bengaluru, we call students and teachers as, Jayantians. So this is Jayantian Extension Services. Through that, actually, we conduct all the, extension activity and social outreach programs and all. And it's a part of their credit system also. We do things actually, mainly in our computer science department. I belong to computer science PG. We mainly focus on, the creating softwares and mobile applications to the needy people at free of cost also. We do that. And we actually do one program called as Rural Exposure Program, wherein it's a kind of camp where our students, they used to visit a village. They have identified 5 villages as a part of their UN SDG goal. So we used to visit, we have adapted those villages. So we used to go to that village and do the necessary services like computer literacy program. And they used to analyze do data analysis on a particular topic, like how e-commerce has reached them, what are the challenges they have with respect to all these automation devices, health devices. That way they do data analysis, and then they stay in the village, they cook their own food, and they enjoy the life of the village people, and they look into the challenges, they help them to come out of it. All these things actually they do. And this way actually they do. But I have one thing to ask you, sir. How do we actually give the impact of extension activities? They say that we need to measure that impact of extension activities. So what would be your suggestion, that in what way we could measure the impact of the activities which we have conducted, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Wonderful. I appreciate the initiatives which your college is taking. So I'll answer your query. Not answer. I'll share my opinion. It is not a query. I'm just learning from you. And as you said, one more professor, Professor Raja actually raised his hand. If he is there, we will also ask his opinion and then we will proceed. Professor Raja, are you there? He raised his hand initially. Okay, if he is not there, let yeah, one more hand was raised. Yes, one more, Dr. N. Uma Shankar. Yes, please, ma'am, please proceed.
So good morning to all. I'm Dr. N. Uma Shankari, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Chemistry, the Standard Fireworks Rajaratnam College for Women's Fakasi. Also, I am holding the post of coordinating Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. Sir, in our college also what Dr. Aruna Devi ma'am has told, we are also having a number of Part 5 courses. Under that, we have NSS, NCC, ORC, RRC, all such social communities oriented programs. Among them, one such program is our Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. So what ma'am has asked, how to measure the community service, the impact of community service we have rendered to the rural public. So as an example, I wish to share on my views, ma'am. Shall I, sir?
Please, madam, please.
Yes, ma'am, you can.
Madam.
Yeah, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, actually, this year we plan to have to improve the nutritive value as well as the hemoglobin content in the school children in our adopted villages, sir. So what we planned is that, so before getting into the field, we just want to take a survey of the school children hemoglobin as well as the their physical measurements with the physician, and then giving weekly some doses, some nutritive food to them. Then every week we are going to measure this, sir. So what progress they have shown in that, and also we are with the help of microbiology department, we plan to have the hemoglobin content estimation camps also weekly once. So according to that results, we can have a report of what is the impact of the action we have taken on to the rural school children. So this is one of our programs, sir, for this academic year. We are also conducting many such programs. Even we have conducted many awareness program for the women, rural women, just as we have made them to understand the importance of cancer, because nowadays women are prone to breast cancer and cervical cancers more often. So we have last March 3rd, we have conducted a awareness program to the rural women about the cancer, and also we have made them to undertake the Pap smear test. So for all such tests, the rural women won't come forward. So we created them an awareness about that, and we have made them to undertake those tests, and we have given them the result at free of cost with a collaboration with one of the local hospital. And one or two patients, they came with a positive, and we have given the suggestions to approach the proper doctors and everything. Just like that, sir. We can have a mission. Thank you.
Excellent, ma'am. Wonderful. Thank you. Somebody else raised their hand. You want to continue, or we'll proceed? Okay. So, assuming that as of now nobody is ready to share, we'll share it as both of you, Madam Uma Shankari, as well as Professor Aruna Devi. And thank you to both of you. You have given a wonderful things, ideas, not ideas. It is what we used to also follow, as Madam Uma Shankari Madam pointed out. That is a vital solution to what Professor Aruna Devi also asked about. You should have periodic assessment over the impact of the service which you provide, because without understanding the outcome, it is meaningless to continue the service which we are actually providing for the society. Yes, it can be in any format based on the type of service. As Madam pointed out, it's a very good initiative. So rural health, the rural children, hemoglobin content at this pandemic, you are doing a wonderful job. So very similar way, we should have periodic assessment of those particular activities which we have initiated as part of our community services. That is the only way with which we can measure The periodic assessment may be in any format. Madam told they are going to take the support of physician. You can simply use a Google form. So what is that initially they had? What kinds of improvement they have? So you can have some kinds of periodic impact assessment, and then you can measure how progressive they are, how progressive we are, how our community service is actually moving in the right direction or not. So it is only through periodic measurements, madam. The measurements may be anything or in any format. It depends on the type of community service which we are actually involved from our institution. I hope this is sufficient for madam who asked about measurement.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And
Thank you,
thank
sir.
you, thank
Thank
you,
you,
thank you.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. And to add to your ideas, whichever you said, your communities also, or your college is involved in so much communities. You used to develop some app. Yes, our students also used to do it. And most importantly, I said my management is very, 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 very. My chancellor has a very, is a very visionary man. He has a very good mission, and vision is very clear. And as part of his own initiative, madam told sustainable research and rural development. We have a separate center, CSRD, so Center for Sustainable and Rural Development. So through which VIT not only in Vellore, in VIT Amaravati as well as in Bhopal, we have a scheme called STARS scheme, support the advancement of rural students, STARS, through which our university is providing in each district. We used to choose one boy and one girl who actually were educated in the regional language with the highest score. They'll be provided free education with free hostel accommodation, everything. So each and every year, 74, at minimum 74 students will be part of VIT. You know how VIT is number one in India. We are continuously, since NIRF is introduced, we are standing in the private category number one. Even in the month of August, we had been through NAC, NAC fourth cycle. So we are one among the very few higher education institutions who university in the under university framework who underwent fourth cycle, and we were we actually were given 3.66, the highest score in fourth cycle by an university. So at this place, even we have in this year 21-22 who are about to be graduated, the highest package for this academic year is 75 lakhs, and that 75 lakhs per annum, actually it was an initiative of our own alumni student, 18 alumni students. They formulated a startup with the support of our university, and now today they became entrepreneurs, and they were here. They recruited our students, and they gave 75 lakhs per annum. We are on par with IIT, not only in terms of curriculum and also in terms of placement. Right. So we not only institutions, it is an individual's vision. I said about my chancellor, he is very good. We are teaching people are above 1,500 in our institution. I am managing 6,000 plus students, computer science and engineering, UG alone. Imagine the strength, right? So everybody is involved in our campus. So these are some of the clubs and chapters through which we at VIT encourage the people. And as I said, all the students, they are part of one or the other services, and they are not going to do it at free of cost. So they will be given some credits. They will be earning some credits. So all these are part of your process also. Now, when we talk more about community services, the most expected community services, rural development. Everybody will accept, we all will accept, rural development needs to complement urban development so that we can have a balanced growth in each sector. So it is very important. But I'm just going to take Tamil Nadu for my case study, not case study for discussion. right? So this discussion is going to be based only on 2001 and 2011 census data. So when we see Tamil Nadu share in total population living in rural areas in the country was 4.5%. Tamil Nadu contributes. So if you see between 2001 and 2011, the number of persons living in rural areas has increased from 34.93 to 37.23 millions. Where comes the development? If you see, it is approximately 6.6%. But we are trying for some decline in the proportion of total population of the state. Initially, if you see in every five-year plans, they used to reduce something. If you see 1981 or 1991, they might have been drastically reduced this percentage. But now, between 2001 and 2011, it gets increased. I don't want to name the state which has actually the highest. If you see even rural workers, Tamil Nadu is accounted for 5.4% of the total rural workers. So 17.56 to 18.86. Imagine it is 2000. The data was actually, the data which I projected here is for 2012 and 2013 calendar year, based on the census data 2011. Very important point is literacy. Again, when it comes to literacy, a rural rate has slightly improved. This is the only one place where we can, where I can agree that we are developing to an extent in at least one of the factors, say literacy. But comparatively, still we are a long way to go. Slightly, it is significantly, it is lower than urban percentage. If you see rural, if we urban, it is 88, it is 73 only in case of rural, right? If you take poverty, I should not talk about this, but it is my duty as a citizen, I should also do it. So it is actually 15.8% in 2011 and 12. Imagine it was only 6.5% in 2004 and 2005, this rural poverty. Every government, the Tamil Nadu government is trying to bring this down below 10. Now it is 15.8. It is very painful that we are still in need of more and more services. I don't, if you see amenities, no, only 2%, as far as the statistics is concerned, only 2% of the home is not well suited for living. You know, there are so many people who do not even have concrete as their roof material. They do not have proper drainage. They don't use fuel for cooking. They do not have electricity. If you have time, you can please get into your census data and see how far rural developments are in progress. Because rural is a place which needs actual improvement, which needs to be given utmost care. This is where I wanted to focus. They say, what are kinds of service? And it is everything is very generic. These are all general ideas. Very simple, because people don't find any way how community and technology can be integrate. Community services can be integrated technology. Very simple. You just go to people, teach them to use Arogya Setu app, which is currently right now needed at this COVID-19 stage. I hope everyone will agree. Some people have lost their job. You can give some sort of training. See, construction workers, you teach them. You know, teaching as a teacher, we know how to teach online. That's it. Apart from teaching, you can give some career advice. Okay, online free. You know, what we can give, what humans can give easily is advice. Very simple. You can, you know, we need translators. Involve yourself in translation. You organize some program to raise the fund. It may be for a agency, or it may be for a charity, or it may be for anything. If you are, as madam pointed out, their student help developing apps, yes, good, create, manage website, support some non-government organization. It is also possible. Very important point. 7th point is very, very tough. People and media nowadays. Once if we have another news, we don't bother about any other news. So information should be correct. That itself is a very good information. That itself is a very good service. Do not spread wrong message. So sustainability is one more valid point. Environmental sustainability. You can talk more and more. Or if you are interested, you just convert audio versions of the book for disabled people. You can use the technology. These are all general ideas. Now, if you say there are people who are interested in arts, you conduct free, you teach graphic designs, you take online arts class, you teach them some vocational skill. Simple. So artwork. So everything is possible. Not only these people. See, psychology. I'm a psychologist. How I can support through technology? I can do many things because nowadays it is widely used. Psychologists are most wanted. So you just make use of the social media, right? Because you know how far individuals are being affected because of COVID-19 pandemic. You just organize some medias, give some message. You just give some free therapy sessions. You can also, if you are willing, you can also volunteer at night lines. You support, talk to people. People are in need of people who used to listen to them. Volunteer at night line. You do not know the importance. You can do some write letters, send postcard to senior citizens who are actually in need of caring. It's a volunteer in any format is possible. It is not only for a student. It is not going to be restricted for an engineer or a social science student. Right? You can do. You imagine an arts and music student. You can organize some bands. Organize through online. You just teach free of cost to the children who are underprivileged. Charity. You just give your instruments, donate the fund. Anything is possible. If you think that you should involve your student, be it in any kind of institution, it is possible. This list is for management students, MBA or BBA, because they people are very clever. They know how to manage funds. You create plan for small business people who are affected by COVID, because their knowledge is different from our traditional arts or science or even engineering students. Right? Very important point. All of us, if you say you are very good in English, just go and teach the students, the rural students, English classes. Take English classes, because it will help them to get placed. This is very simple. I said teaching. You can act as a teacher for in a very good institution. So our students, we used to give opportunity for this. Those who are having so and so percentage CGPA, they will be given opportunity to work as an assistant. We will be giving some appreciations. It is also some kinds of support, right? So online coding classes, conferences, science fair, symposium, anything. So all these are going to be kind of community services if one is interested or volunteer for this. How can the technology be useful for us? There are so many ways. Forums you can use. So you can create a forum, you can create a WhatsApp group, or you can create a blog. Groups are wonderful part. We used to have Facebook private groups. Private group, difference between private and public. We can have a group which is not going to be visible to all. Very simple. Yes, I said rural people need all these things. If you are in your group, hey, group to group communication, you just identify the location using satellite image processing. Organize a tree plantation event. Take help of other group. If you plan for a cleaning, identify the areas. You ask for your other groups. You can reclaim because you know nowadays satellite images are available everywhere. You can identify. You know when Jagan Mohan, Mr. Jagan Mohan took in charge of Chief Minister of Andhra, how many water resources have been reclaimed by him? Plenty in numbers. Very good. It was a very good initiative. And most wanted is farmers, which most of the government also is not ready to listen to. We have plenty of methods for prediction. We used to talk about IoT, machine learning, prediction, blah blah things, but what it is going to be used for, who is going to be benefited out of it? If you take hospital, not all the hospitals are doing free of service. You support the farmers, predict the weather. You can, you have the data, the models, you can support them. So and so, like this, your weather will be like this in the forthcoming season. So plan your crop yield. You can prefer. You can even include even fertilizer. I said why I include fertilizer. Last week, a couple of weeks back, we in VIT educated farmers to use drones to spread or to fertilize the land with the help of drones. We had a training program. In and around the village, people attended. And that is also about rural diseases, how we are affected. Based on the climate, you predict some analysis, support them, use the technology for prediction. How to identify earthquake or whenever there are rainfall, if you predict rainfall, which area will be raining heavily, what kinds of flood effect will be there. Everything can be predicted. But what as a higher education institution we used to think is always, if you talk about community services through teaching, it is only through tutoring. We know only tutor. But as a technologist, we can do any of this with the help of a team or group. Anything is possible. So these ideas are very limited, right? But all of us know that there are challenges. People are not accustomed to technology in rural because of literacy level. They do not know. Still I could see some people who are using mobile phones which have buttons. Yes, of course. My mom do not know till she was there, till she was alive. She do not know how to use mobile. Right. I mean, if we consider rural development, then we know how far the power outages. Then there you can plan for use of technology to generate electricity. Finance, that should be taken care of by government. We have so many schemes. One MLA for a constitution, he or she is going to have the fund. Panchayat Raj, there is concept called Panchayat Raj. They will have some funds allotted for so and so across the villages. So there are some funds which are not aware. Social programs for rural development or rural employment or rural deployment. There are so many schemes which are available and for which we have so much funds allotted. If you can go and refer how much crores in total budget they have allotted for rural development. But it is not effectively used. So even as I said, how an MLA is entitled to use member of a legislative assembly constitutionally development scheme. The scheme name itself is MLADCDS, constituency development scheme. Who is going to ask them? So we have similarly for MP. local area development scheme, MP local area development scheme. In each and every budget, they are given something. Other than this, we have something called as rural infrastructure scheme. People are not completely aware of what is the existing support they have. So even we have something called backward regions grant fund, which we do not know. You just use technology, file an RIT, make this visible to public. Simple. Or you just involve yourself to identify some cheaper technology products. But making people to accept this change and adapt to the technologies, highly, it is difficult. It is possible, but it is not easier task. So with this, I just wanted to conclude, technology, it will have a transformative effect in all the sectors, but it should be wisely selected and applied. Because we, from the education institution, if we initiate at least through all the students, the community development programs will support the betterment of society. So with this, I just don't want to get into politics. I'm going to stop. And now I request your opinion on this. I'm going to stop sharing with your permission. Yes. Yes, please. Now the forum is open for our discussion. All of us can be part of this discussion. I'm expecting more points from your side, please.
Sir, good morning, sir. I am Jagannathan, IKC coordinator from Ayanada Jarigamal College.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Thank you so much for giving us excellent talk on this topic. A small topic, but you have excellently handled. And I think this will give us some additional opportunity for the institutions to provide community service using the technology. It is a need of the hour because we are not able to contact the community due to this pandemic situation. So definitely your suggestions will be of very great useful to the institution. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
We are also searching for such a kind of inputs from experts because we are clueless on these 2 years about how to do community service.
Okay.
There may be lack of data when we go for next accreditation. That is a question looming around us. Thank you for your excellent input, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any other suggestions or queries from the participant in? In between the session, Dr. Arna Devi ma'am from Bangalore and Dr. N. Umashankari ma'am from SPAR College, Sivagasi, you have suggested so many opinions and practices that you have followed in your institution. Appreciation from our team, ma'am, to both of you. Likewise, other participants, you may also share your views and suggestions for doing a better community service from the academic institutions. Yes, please, ma'am, answers. You can also post your suggestion or any queries in your chat box also.
Madam, there are some
Yes, sir. Queries.
Chat. Yes.
So from Lakshmi Kant, hello sir, I am doing research on institute industry collaboration. Then I would like to more connect with industry research and consultancy area with the help of in the industry. What you suggest for the same? I don't know it is relevant question or not. So he needs some suggestion for industry collaboration in for research.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is possible. So you can initiate first. What we used to do is we used to have visit regularly in every semester. Once in a semester, our students are permitted to go for an industrial visit. So thereby we may also we approach the industry. So even last month we have Valeo. The name of the company is Valeo, VALEO. We signed an MOU for their problem. It is later. So it seems to be simple, but it cannot be initiated from industry people. So industry, we have to approach them first, and we need to let them know that we are doing some kind of consultancy, and we can do these, we can do these kind of services. We have these facilities so that you may utilize our service, because we have some dedicated labs. Say if we take mechanical, or we have taken some, we have a lab called some organ manufacturing and engineering. We have some dedicated lab which is not available in Chennai. So those people from industry, they used to come and do some kinds of. So first we need to make industry identify that we have these much facilities, and we are capable of doing these sort of consultancy services, and then let us offer our service, and they let them know that we are capable of doing so and so. Then they will come and initially do it. If we see part of similar initiatives, we have Samsung Prism, an initiative. We are actually in the third phase. So what they are doing is, we have an MOU. They give some worklets. So phase by phase, we are doing some consultancy to them. It is only with computer science and information technology schools. So we led Samsung that we are capable of doing so and so. And similarly, you should approach with the kind of services your institution may offer. They should be first notified. You should have a discussion with HR of the company, go and directly visit them, initiate the process. By sitting and mailing will not help us, because most people believe that I have mailed them, no responses. You will never get back any response. So it is possible, sir. You initiate, you go and you visit 3 companies, at least one will respond to your ideas. I'm sure. Do well, sir. All the best.
And Vinita ma'am, you have suggested a very good initiative that you have done in your institute. Appreciation to you, ma'am. Tailoring work and embroidery to less privileged ladies. You have offering the service for them to get some economic benefits out of the training. Very good initiative, ma'am. Congrats.